Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Strong Like Training. I'm Shelby. I am the owner and creator of Strong Like Training. It is my mantra. It is what I run my daily life around, and I'm glad you're here. I decided that it might be a good idea for me to have a video just talking about kind of where I came from, what's my background, why did I start doing this, and kind of giving you a little bit more information about where I'm at in terms of just the health and fitness space. There's tons and tons of coaches out there. You could find one down the street from you probably if you just did a door-by-door knocking and asking around. Fitness is a huge space that is continuously growing, and so I think that it is important as a coach to know what makes you you, what is your style of coaching, and just understanding your own coaching style. And for clients who are looking for a coach to understand what your coach is about, I also think it's just super important. So a little bit about me. I'm 28 years old. I have been in the personal training, group training, fitness space as a coach since 2014. So 6 years, which now that I said out loud, sounds like a really long time because I don't feel like it's been that long. So I've been training for 6 years. I've dabbled in and out of more personal training specific to adding in group training to going almost exclusively group training with just some personal training on the side to somewhat leaving the fitness industry as a full-time job, working for an obstacle race company, and then just training on the side to back to the full-blown training world. I now work as an assistant at Lifetime Fitness in the Atlanta area when we're open, which is not right now, but that is my current role. So I do still do some personal training, but I also do a lot of coaching of coaches, which is a little bit different space. I'm in a management style role. I still get to do some personal training. I only have a couple of clients that I work with in person. But now my job is to make sure that coaches learn how to run their businesses effectively and how to really manage keeping clients, acquiring clients, all of that, which is a really hard point of training that a lot of people don't realize when they get into it. You know, they get into it to, they think that as soon as they get a training certification and stuff, they're just clients are going to appear. But learning how to actually acquire clients and the right type of client and all of that is another huge space that is not necessarily my full-blown forte, but I've learned a lot and have been able to use that to help my team at Lifetime. So about Strong Like Training. So I decided years back when I was super into the CrossFit space that I just wanted to be so strong. I was a super small human most of my life. Running jokes about me not being able to hit 100 pounds was the norm. I could eat whatever I wanted, and I just was a tiny human. And I still to this day joke about it, and people say, that I've got this huge ball of energy and fire and sass behind me, but I'm still a very small package. And I think that that's okay, and I think that fits for me. But I essentially went from being an athlete growing up. I played soccer most of my life. I would say I was decent. I wasn't the highest level of competitive athlete, but I was good enough to play club ball and did that for years up until I was about 16. Stopped playing club ball because I was burnt out as heck. I live in the Atlanta area now. I lived 5 hours away from Atlanta and was driving to Atlanta for home games because I was playing for a team out of Peachtree City when I finally decided to call it quits. And if that makes any sense to you or doesn't make sense to you, 5 hours for a home game is ridiculous. But I wasn't the only one doing it. I was with a group of girls that was also super committed, and I would say more than half of them ended up playing college ball. I played for a very short time in college. I didn't even go a full season. I didn't enjoy it. As a walk-on, as a sophomore, but played with a lot of girls who ended up going to college to play. So I was surrounded by athletes a lot. I also cheered, which was not competitive cheering by any means. It was like for fun cheering. I played basketball shortly. I played volleyball for a little bit, got into that when our school started a volleyball team. So I always was active, and so I didn't really have to necessarily pay attention to my body and what my body was doing going through, like middle school and all of that. Like I didn't have the like big weight drop or anything in middle school because I was running every calorie out of my body on a regular basis. So with that, I didn't really get into understanding needing to pay attention to what I was doing until I got to college and really discovered that drinking Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and maybe only going for a run at the gym 1 to 3 times a week, maybe for a couple of miles, and then hitting like a couple of curls and like ab exercises was not going to cut it. And that when it was cold out and I decided that for the first time seeing snow, I didn't want to walk to the gym or do anything, that ordering pizza in and not working out wasn't going to cut it. And then also going out and drinking again. So I gained weight in college, like most people do. But still considered myself kind of active and whatever. And I was still small, but I mean, there was weight in places that I had never dealt with. I was a biology major and finished as a biology major, but discovered exercise science, more specifically, literally in my end of my junior year, when I was trying to decide, do I start really hardcore studying for an MCAT? Or do I start studying for vet testing or vet school testing? Or what do I want to do with my degree? Because medicine was always kind of what I thought I wanted to do. But the stress that comes with that didn't necessarily align with how my body and my mind function. I'm super, super high strung. I'm super type A, but I also have really high levels of anxiety. And going through genetics and microbiology and organic chemistry one semester, which because I thought I could handle it, almost broke me. And it was a conversation I had with myself and with my mother to say, like, maybe that's not the right route for me, and that I would thrive better in an environment that pushed me, but not to the point of breaking. So long story short, I signed up for a Spartan race through my school because there was essentially they were going to pay you back if you were in the first 10 or so to sign up. And I was at a very small school, so 10 people signing up was like kind of going to be a lot. Like I think we had 1,200 to 1,300 students total at my college. So I signed up for this race and started running and said, I'm going to get in shape for this and blah, blah, blah. And I think we did like 1 or 2 workouts with the group. It was Peak OCR, Peak Outdoors, I think was the name of the group. And that gave us an outlet to like start doing some of the things we were going to see in the race. And a month before the race, I joined my first CrossFit gym, like actually joined. I had done a couple of workouts with my sister prior and my mother at a gym locally, and that was when CrossFit was kind of like just getting its name out there as like for people to do as a group fitness class. And I thought a month of training was gonna get me there. And that race kicked my ass. I enjoyed it a ton. I mean, I loved it. I loved everything about it. I loved how hard it was. I loved the mental challenge of being out in the woods and just being like, I don't know when this is going to end, but I'm going to freaking finish this. And that kind of jump-started my fitness journey personally, and it also transitioned me into looking into what exercise does for your body. So I got into the one exercise science class that my school offered. There was only one because we were a very small private school and there was not an exercise science department. I took a nutrition course over the summer at a different college near home, and I took an anatomy class at another college to make sure I got it done in time and could fit that in with my also Spanish major that I was doing. Ended up applying to grad school for exercise science and had never stepped foot in an exercise science lab. I had done every other lab under the sun, genetics, microbiology, like I said, all of those. So I had experience in a lab, but an exercise science lab is very different. And got into 3 of the 4 schools I applied to. Decided to go to Georgia, in-state, go Dogs, and fell in love with figuring out what the heck my body could do. So through grad school, right before starting, I got my first training certification through NASM. And I started training my first client, and they handed over a 3-time-a-week, 6 a.m. client for 30 minutes. And I was so pumped, and they were just really excited to hand off a 6 a.m. client because they didn't want to do it. And I had never trained, and they were like, yes, you interviewed okay. I didn't have to do much at all other than come in and show up and then show them that I had a certification. But it was a great learning experience. It was the first gym I worked at. I worked there for my 2 years of grad school. It merged with another gym while I was there, and I was upwards of training 40-ish PT clients plus some classes a week. And it was crazy. And that was during my grad school experience. I transitioned into working for an obstacle race company out of grad school that then folded. RIP Battle Frog. For those of you who are in the obstacle racing world, you know all about that. Still to this day, breaks my heart. I feel like that would have been the company to just rock everything. Side note though, we'll talk about that another day. So when that folded, I went full-time back to coaching, and I worked in 2 different CrossFit gyms. One that I had a relationship with due to Battle Frog, and then the other I had already been working in. I didn't actually have my CrossFit Level 1 certification yet, so I dropped $1,200 because I registered for a certification 2 weeks prior, which they up the price as you get closer, and started coaching CrossFit classes, taking on PT clients again, and teaching like a strength and conditioning class as well. So that got me back into the training space. I decided that if I was going to do this, I was really going to do it. I was going to go hardcore. I was going to really push to be as educated as possible. And that has grown only more since I transitioned to Lifetime, because Lifetime really puts a huge emphasis on education. And I've always done that myself anyways, getting a double major. I took extra classes in psychology. I took extra classes in English that had nothing to do with me graduating because I liked it. So I've always been an education prone person. So becoming the best coach was just a no-brainer to me, that I was going to get certification after certification, do stuff on my own, whatever. And then when the opportunity came to step into management, that felt like a good space for me because it allowed me to also help other coaches get better. And I've really enjoyed learning that side of it and how to coach coaches. And I haven't really done that in an online space yet. I've done that in a Lifetime space, but I think I'm really good at my job. I really enjoy it. I've learned how to coach people up into being better coaches and wanting to be better coaches, and knowing how to be a better coach comes with time and practice. So that plus, working in an online space, since I got into grad school, I have learned that the influence that social media has is huge. And so my purpose in this page and in my Instagram and my Facebook is to always be educating and asking you to ask more questions. Get better and educate yourself through a coach, through online resources, whatever it may be, to better your body, better your health, and as an that's as an athlete, but also as a coach. As a coach, can you be better by educating yourself further and providing good information to your clients, not just telling them what to do, but telling them the why behind why you do it. And that's my big piece as a coach is I think people should be strong. I think that you don't have to necessarily be super jacked, but strength is something that your body needs over time to keep it healthy. I have no desire to run ridiculous amounts and all that, but I know that cardio is good for you. I also just believe that strength training should be a priority for everybody, and so should cardio in its own respective way. And I think nutrition is a huge piece, and I think that I'm always going to be the one who's going to push you a little bit to say, hey, what can we do to be better today? And so my plan for this page is to do a little bit of both. I want to coach you as an athlete, right? How do you get better? And I say athlete as in anybody can be an athlete, right? Depending on what you're working on, but coach you as a client, if that's your preferred term, and to coach you if you were a coach. So there's going to be 2 separate spaces that I delve into, and that is client education and then also coach education, because both of those things are really big pieces, and these are things that I'm already doing in my full-time job at Lifetime when we're working. But right now with the furlough happening, with all of us basically being at home, this is a really great time for me to be able to share some of my knowledge and what I've learned over my past 6 years in the business. So hopefully this gives you a little bit more background on me. If you've got questions, drop them below. I'm all for doing like a Q&A type video if you have stuff like that you want to talk about, or just taking suggestions on things you want to learn about as either a client or as a coach. So hope you enjoy it. Keep watching. I got tons of videos coming for you guys, and I'll talk to you guys soon.